ダメみたいよ。なんか風がするみたいで。バラバラになってる。
あれはね、そうなんだ。いいね。いや、これいいや。はい。
通路で子供にボールをあげてましたよね。
そうでしょ。
はい、あげ
て
ました。その通りです。
そのボールをもらったお子さんというのは
一生涯で思い出です。宝物ですよね。
他のギャラリーの人からね、羨ましがられてました。
やっぱりジュニアが好きですからね、台湾は。
思いっきり振ってきました。
左から少しフェード系でフェアウェイ。
フェアウェイわずか左。はい。
そっくり超えてますね。
そうですね。
少しこれアゲンストなんですけどね。
あ、そうですか。
Long and right. It's even longer than fast attack submarine. It's pretty far drop, so we'll have to be careful. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to go first. Okay. And wait for you at the bottom then.
潜水艦内部へ降りるハッチまで長い距離を歩きましたが、中へ入ってからの広さにまた驚きました。
Hello, Mr. Odaka. Welcome to the USS Pennsylvania.
案内役を務めてくれたのは艦長のマイケル・ドブス中佐です。超大型のペンシルベニアには2組ゴールドとブルーのクルーが交代で乗り組むため、艦長が2人います。今乗り込んでいるのはゴールドのクルーで、ドブス中佐はブルーの艦長です。艦内は航空母艦と同じ大きさの廊下が続いています。艦内の各部分を分ける丸扉も大型の海上艦艇顔負けの大きさでした。ペンシルベニアの司令室です。
So this is the control center, and this is where we navigate the ship from, and we also manage the contact situation so we know if there's any tanker ships, any type of vessels that are around us. And this is also where we actually prepare to launch our torpedoes when we're trying to fight the ship. We use the periscopes you can see right now, both for navigation and for keeping tabs on all the service ships that are around us. We have a variety of displays here. We have a display over here which is quite nice because it has an overlay of ship's position with the geography or the chart of the area that we're in, so that we can see exactly where we are, you know, relative to land and then also relative to other ships that might be in the area. And that's obviously very important to maintain the ship safe.
この潜水艦の最高速度は海中で35ノット。全速力で走ると海中の攻撃型潜水艦や海上から攻撃してくる駆逐艦を振り切ることができます。ペンシルベニアは潜水能力に優れており、あっという間に海中300メートルまで潜ることができます。また優れた原子力エンジンを持ち、ほとんど音を出さないため、敵の潜水艦や駆逐艦がソナーで見つけようとしてもなかなか見つかりません。この超大型潜水艦の建造が始まった時、世界の専門家は常識を破った大きさに驚きましたが、搭載されたトライデントミサイルの威力が冷戦の相手であったソビエトの戦う気力を大きく削いだのです。So this is the center of this ship.
So this is the missile compartment near the center of the ship. So this is the missile compartment, and we have 24 missile tubes. So we're capable of carrying up to 24 ballistic missiles at one time.
This is one of effective weapon in the United States at this time.
It's definitely the most powerful weapon system that's ever been on Earth, with the capable of carrying 24 nuclear weapons.
So actually, you are ready 24 hours.
Exactly, that's our job. Once we're at sea, is to go out to remain undetected as much as possible, in communication with the National Command Authority, and be ready to undertake any missions that the President would need us to do.
And your area of the movement is classified, or you can go anywhere in the world or in the Pacific?
Well, I mean, we have tremendous mobility. That's one very positive thing about nuclear propulsion, is we can remain at sea for long periods of time and don't need to refuel. So we can go wherever we're needed to go. But of course, the different places that we go, the operations are actually classified.
This number is number 5 tube.
Yes.
Number 5?
Yeah, each tube is numbered. On the starboard side of the ship are the odd numbered tubes, and then on the port side are the even numbered tubes. So this is tube number 5.
Can we go through?
Yeah.
Sometimes you make launching for exercise?
We go through and we exercise a fire control system, exercise our ability to receive messages and determine what missiles would need to be launched. And so we do that usually on a weekly basis to maintain our readiness.
And operationally, tactically, you always have contact with your headquarters or somebody about readiness and about condition.
Yes, in most cases we'll remain in constant communication with our operational commanders, so that we're always ready to carry out any missions that we would need to carry out.
So fundamentally, condition the same at the time of a Cold War.
I would say in many respects it's the same. Our number one job is to go out in the ocean to remain undetected and to keep our weapon systems in a state of readiness and just be prepared to undertake any missions. But our mission is largely the same, and that's still strategic deterrence using nuclear weapons.
ここはミサイルのコントロールルーム、発射室であります。全てを公開しておりますアメリカ海軍ですが、さすがにこのミサイルのコントロールルームだけは写真を撮ってはならぬということです。私が見てもいいということですので、カメラなしで私だけ中へ入って発射室の模様を見てこようと思います。ミサイルコントロールルームの中には24個のボタンが並び、トライデントミサイルが全て発射態勢にあることを示しており、2人の士官が発射のためのキーを前に座っていました。私はまさに究極の兵器の真っ只中におります。この私の周りにありますのがトライデント D5 型ミサイル、数千キロ飛びまして、大きな破壊力を世界各地に及ぼします。この D5 型トライデントミサイルは一説によりますと10個の核弾頭を積んでおります。そしてその核弾頭がそれぞれの目標に向かって、飛んでいくわけでありますけれども、1発ずつの核弾頭は広島長崎に落とされたものの1000倍とも言われております。でこのミサイルは目標に向かって飛んでいきます機械が内蔵されておりまして、まさに目標が飛んでいく前から決まっている、つまり照準がはっきりと決まっている恐怖の爆弾であります。で今ブッシュ政権は先制攻撃による戦略、核兵器を持った国に対しては核兵器を持って応じるという新しい戦略を展開しております。その中でこの究極のミサイルが持ちます戦略的な意味は、まさに世界を歴史をも吹っ飛ばしてしまうという恐ろしいものだということができます。
And this is our sonar room, and whenever we're submerged, this really is our primary means of sensing what the environment is like. And similar in control, we have sensors which allow us to detect energy in the water, but you never know whether it's going to be a submarine, whether it's going to be a surface ship, or a whale, or some other type of biologics. So we normally have 4 or 5 people that are in here at all times, monitoring the different panels and providing information out to the officer deck so that he can keep aware of the tactical situation. And then if we are doing a battle station scenario where we're trying to track a submarine or attack a surface ship, this is going to be one of our primary sensors to be able to get an accurate solution on the contact, which is how far away he is, what direction he's going, and how fast, so that we can send a torpedo out to intercept the contact and hopefully destroy the contact.
ソナーが今拾い上げている音は数百メートル離れて護衛している駆逐艦の音です。バンガー基地に向かっているペンシルベニアを護衛して2隻の駆逐艦が航行しています。ソナーが拾い出した太い線がその駆逐艦のエンジンの音です。ソナー担当者はこの付近にはクジラがたくさんいるはずだが、駆逐艦のエンジンの音が大きすぎてクジラの音が拾えないと言っていました。ペンシルベニアがどのような軍事行動をとっているのか、ミサイルの照準をどこに当てているのか、艦長のドブス中佐に聞いてみます。
Captain Dobbs, tell me about your ship. This is a very strong and effective weapon system.
It's definitely the most powerful military platform that's ever existed. We have the capability to carry up to 24 Trident II nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles, as well as to launch torpedoes from our 4 torpedo tubes. So it's a very, very big ship, 18,000 tons, 140 meters in length, and just extremely powerful, extremely capable. You can do lots of different missions for our government.
18,000 tonnage. It's just like cruiser and a big ship.
It's about the size of a smaller cruiser, but much bigger than a destroyer. Of course, much smaller than an aircraft carrier, but it is a very large ship, considered a major vessel in our fleet.
Speed and other capability is classified.
We can go faster than 35 kilometers an hour. So we're a very fast platform. But really for submarine, it's not so much how fast you go in most circumstances, but how long you can remain at sea and how stealthy and quiet you can be. And that's one of the major advantages of our nuclear propulsion system is we can remain at sea essentially indefinitely without refueling, but also be very, very quiet so that our adversaries can't find us. And so we can stay at sea stealthy in case we ever needed to launch our missiles.
Range of activity is limitless because nuclear engine.
Exactly. A submarine like this, most of our submarines in our fleet right now, you're talking decades between having to refuel them. And that does take it takes some time to refuel the nuclear core once you've expended the energy that's in that core, but you only have to do it every 15, 20 years, and so that's a major advantage.
Decade means 10 years.
Yes.
And tell me about your missile system. You have the newest missile equipped.
Yes, we have Trident II nuclear missiles. It's the second in the generation of Tridents. There was a Trident I missile. Now we have the Trident II missile. And it's a very long range, very accurate missile. So that's one of the wonderful things about the Ohio-class submarine is no matter where we're at, we can hit targets in a very wide arc, a wide range of arcs around the ship, which makes us a very, very capable deterrent platform.
And you have 24 missiles on your ships.
We're capable of carrying up to 24 missiles that can be launched at different targets, so you don't have to send all the missiles at one target.
And the nuclear warhead.
Exactly. The types of missiles that we're capable of carrying have nuclear warheads.
And range of the missile is about 7,000 or 6,000 miles.
Several thousand miles. They've made a lot of progress. When we first had ballistic missiles at sea and submarines, the ranges were only about 450, maybe 600 nautical miles, and now we're talking several thousand miles for the missiles.
So theoretically, you can hit any troubled area around the Pacific.
I wouldn't say necessarily every area, no matter where we're at, but in most cases, we could hit targets in a large portion of the Earth's surface.
And all the missiles pre-targeted, or when you case of emergency, you set the target.
Yeah, the missiles are not targeted when they're on board at any specific target at any given time. What we do, though, is we maintain the missiles in a high state of readiness. And then if we were ever given an order to launch to protect America as part of our deterrence posture, then we put the targeting information into the missiles, and then we would launch the missiles.
Tell me about your readiness. How do you categorize your readiness of activity?
We maintain our readiness in a very high state, and we do that through training. We train at sea 5 to 6 days a week, running drills. We have classroom lectures that are going on several times a week. And then from time to time, we actually participate in operations with other submarines, other surface ships. And then when my crew is not actually on the submarine, we're back in Bangor. We're in simulators, learning or perfecting our ability to drive the ship, to navigate it, to shoot torpedoes, to participate in nuclear warfare if that were required. So we're training really 365 days a year to meet our primary missions of nuclear deterrence, and then also other missions such as anti-submarine warfare and attacking surface ships.
Sometimes you have simulated exercise of launching a missile.
We do that from time to time based on messages that we get from outside the ship, really to test the connectivity between our bosses, the people who would give us the orders to launch missiles, and our own communications. And then we have different modes in our fire control system which allow us to go through and doing various degrees of simulation so that we can train our men on normal operations as well as different types of casualty situations that might occur with a missile tube or with a fire control system, so that they learn to quickly diagnose what the problem is and then go to the right casualty procedure to fix the problem so that we could carry on with our mission.
原子力ミサイル潜水艦ペンシルベニアの艦内、特に食堂はゆったりとしたスペースを持っています。ペンシルベニアの広さは先日私が乗った攻撃型原子力潜水艦シティ・オブ・コープス・クリスティのほぼ2倍あり、食堂もゆったりしています。若い水兵に聞いてみました。
What state did you come?
I joined out of Virginia.
Virginia.
Yes.
We came from, I myself came from Washington, D.C. And how long we have been with this submarine?
With this submarine, a little over 3 years, getting very close to 4.
3 years. You're enjoying it?
Oh yes.
How's the food? Is it good?
Well, best is out there.
And after this, so you have any plan to do?
Recently just re-enlisted in the Navy for 6 more years. I plan on making this a career as long as I can. And also I'm going to be doing some college on the side and eventually getting a degree and get a better job on the outside world once I do finally retire.
Thank you. Good luck. How old are you, may I ask?
Sure, yes. 23 years old.
22.
23.
23. What state did you come?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Where?
Philadelphia and Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Oh. And how long we have been here in this ship?
On the sub, almost a year.
Yes. What's your specialty?
Sonar.
Sonar. Exciting.
Yes.
Sometimes you hear whale or shrimp or...
All types of stuff. All types of stuff.
You're staying longer in the Navy from now?
Most likely.
Hi. What's your name?
Jason Ferguson.
Jason?
Yes. Clarence Ferguson.
From what state did you come?
I'm from Illinois.
Illinois.
Yes.
What's your specialty in the ship?
I'm a missile technician.
What?
Missile technician?
Technician?
Yes.
And you studied that in the school? I mean, technician job.
Yeah, I started. There's a couple different schools we go through to get the right knowledge and everything we need to know to be here.
You planning to stay in the Navy from now?
I just re-enlisted as of right now. It's kind of undecided. See how things go in the future.
Maybe going back to college or?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to as soon as I can rotate to shore duty. Get some college too. Yeah.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. See you.
Transfer of fuel on
May I ask?
The smoking lamp is lit.
What's your name?
My name is Daniel Reeser.
And how many years?
I have about 5 years in the Navy now.
5 years. What state did you come?
Well, came into the Navy from Texas, but I lived in Illinois most of my life.
What's about Texas? About Houston or?
Houston.
Oh, it's the same as the President Bush. And what's your specialty?
Well, I'm an electronics technician, and did about 2 years of school before coming here. So
Electronic technician. Actually, what are you doing? I mean, what?
Well, I'm a navigation electronics technician, so we basically tell the boat where it is.
How's the food? No complaint?
No complaints.
Is it your first ship?
This is my second.
Second ship.
I was on the USS Georgia prior to this.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
From what state did you come?
Indiana.
Oh, please go ahead.
No, okay. Indiana.
Indiana. Oh, Indiana. Oh, my office was Indianapolis, Hudson
really?
Institute.
Really?
And what's your specialty?
I'm a missile tech.
Missiles. Oh, exciting. What did you study in the school?
Basically everything about the system, everything about the missiles, everything concerning our job that we do here.
You're going to stay in the Navy
I'm
indefinitely?
not sure yet. it's a big decision to make, but I'm just not sure yet.
Maybe you're going back to school again, or what?
Well, we would go to shore duty, and then after that would happen, then we'd come back to another submarine. My rate, we only have really two choices to go because missile techs are only on Trident submarines, so we can only be in either Washington here or all the way in Georgia. So it just depends. I'm not sure. I haven't made that decision yet.
Thank you. Thank you very
No
much. Good
problem.
luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
この潜水艦は強力な原子力エンジンを使って全てを受給しています。酸素もここで作っています。原子力タービンを使って海水から真水を作り、それを分解して酸素を作るのです。
So actually, what are you doing? You're watching cleanness of the air?
Well, right, all the air in the ship comes through this room at some point, one point or another. These machines over here are CO2 scrubbers. They use a chemical called monoethanolamine, and when it's cool, it absorbs CO2, and then we heat it up through a boiler, and it's released from the chemical, and then it's pumped overboard on the port side, out the aft end of the ship. These machines back here are COH2 burners. They use a catalytic process and turn the CO into CO2, and then it's discharged to these machines, and the hydrogen, the H2, is turned into water vapor, and most of it's absorbed into the atmosphere. Those two machines over there, the big gray machines over there, those are the oxygen generators. They take pure water. We send an electric charge to it, and it splits the H2O into hydrogen and oxygen.
You make the oxygen out of the water?
Right, we make oxygen out of the water. The oxygen's either put into storage banks and later bled into the ship, or we can bleed it directly into the atmosphere, and the hydrogen is also pumped overboard.
How do you make a water out of salt water?
That's back aft. We have distilling machines that that boil the water and boil all the salt out of the water, and we make pure water out of it. So we make our drinking water
All
as well.
done by yourself.
Right.
エネルギーも空気も自分で作り出すミサイル原子力潜水艦ペンシルベニアは理論的には食料以外全てを自ら賄い、長期間にわたって海中パトロールを続けることができます。
This is our dry storeroom, and as you can imagine, we need a lot of space to carry food for the crew. We have to feed 160 men 4 times a day, so we carry large containers of everything. We've got flour, different types of meals, sugar, lots of canned goods, pasta, and then we also have refrigerators and freezers where we can keep vegetables, we can keep meat, fish, chicken, shrimp, things like that. And we bring these big pallets down. We actually load them outside the submarine, and then we bring them down, and this wall over here actually goes away. So we take away the entire wall, bring down these pallets as they are, fully loaded, and then actually slide them in on air pallets to where they need to be. And so we can actually load the ship with food, all the food we need, in just about a day, which is much better than it used to be, where you had to hand things, basically form a fire brigade and hand sacks of sugar or cans of coffee from one sailor to the next to get it down into the ship. Yeah, there's a little smell to that room.
冷蔵庫。あらゆるものがあります。チーズ、パン、ハム、キュウリまであります。こっちにあるのはメロンです。
Well, they say that an army travels on its stomach, and I'm not sure it's any different for a submarine. Food is very important. It's very important to keeping the crew healthy, but also to crew morale. I mean, all the guys look forward to having a good meal several times a day, and the cooks do a great job preparing 4 meals every day for the 160 sailors and officers that we have in the submarine. And a big part of it is baking. They have guys that are baking just about 24 hours a day, including the middle of the night, getting ready for breakfast. making rolls and cakes and breads, since we take some bread to sea with us, but most of the bread that we have at sea we actually make.
Is for tomorrow breakfast?
This is hot rolls. Hot roll dough. This is actually for dinner tonight.
Dinner tonight.
We roll about 50 to 100 of these.
Where did you learn to make this?
I learned it at A school, and it's a culinary school that the Navy sent us to when we become cooks.
原子力ミサイル潜水艦ペンシルベニアは第9潜水艦隊基地バンガーに向かっています。ペンシルベニアが近づくと海上の橋が左右に開いて潜水艦を通します。橋を通過し基地に近づくとテロリストの侵入を防ぐために海上に張り巡らされた保護柵が開き、潜水艦が通った後海上を封鎖しましたが、撮影は全く許されませんでした。バンガーの埠頭には乗組員の家族が大勢出迎えに来ていました。抽選で選ばれた若い乗組員の一人が真っ先にブリッジを渡って上陸し、家族に再会します。ペンシルベニアはしばらくの間このバンガーの基地で点検を受けた後、ドブス艦長の率いるブルーのクルーが再び太平洋の海中パトロールに出動していきます。アメリカは冷戦が終わった後もなぜ原子力ミサイル潜水艦の戦闘パトロールを続けているのか。トライデントミサイルの照準はどこに当てられているのか。アメリカきっての核戦略の専門家ジェームス・シュレジンジャー元国防長官に聞きます。
Dr. Schlesinger, I'd like to ask you about the threat of Chinese military and American posture. I bought on SSN Ohio class. Still, you maintain nuclear deterrent in the Pacific. Against whom? Against the military of China?
Well, it's a deterrent, and it is intended to establish or reinforce our presence. We do not expect trouble from China, and certainly not in the near future. Something could go wrong accidentally by miscalculation in Taiwan Straits, but we do not expect them to be aggressive, and we do not expect to see any conflict out there, at least for the foreseeable future. We, of course, maintain a deterrent posture. It is primarily, of course, directed against a nation that has a major nuclear capability, which is China. But it also could be used against North Korea or other nations in the Asia region that happen to be aggressive or hostile to the United States. We maintain a major presence in the Pacific in order to deal with any contingency.
See, but first, I'd like to ask you about Chinese threat and your policy against China.
Well,
and, two threats you have. One, they are increasing number of nuclear weapons which can attack the United States mainland. I hope you can explain to me what kind of threat they pose on the United States at this time.
Well, they pose a much smaller threat than did the Soviet Union. First of all, China does not have a announced strategy of expansion the way the Soviet Union had. China intends to preserve what's its own and be an influential member of the region, but it does not have a policy of expansion the way Brezhnev did when he was leading the Soviet Union, as enshrined in the Brezhnev Doctrine, for example. China is not that aggressive. But China, as you indicate, is building its military forces. Each year it invests more resources in building those forces, and it is attempting to modernize those forces. Amongst the things that they are modernizing is going to be their nuclear capability, some directed towards the region, some directed toward the United States. One of the, you mentioned earlier, our nuclear submarines in the Pacific, which have a multiplicity of warheads. In the old days, a single submarine could target all of the Chinese nuclear capabilities. Now, however, as their forces expand, it would take more than a single submarine to do so. But I think that we have a powerful deterrent, and China continues, understandably, and I think correctly, to be focused on economic expansion. And its military forces are designed to neutralize, they hope, the United States, primarily in the area of the Taiwan Straits.
Do you think deterrence power of SSBN, Ohio class, as a nuclear weapon, can be deterrent against the Chinese movement against Taiwan, mean the Taiwan Strait War?
No, the advantage, or the advantage that we might have in a hypothetical struggle over Taiwan, and I stress hypothetical, because I don't expect it. I think that both China and the United States will be intelligent enough to avoid such a struggle. And that requires the United States to see to it that Taiwan is not provocative. But no, we would not, I think, rely upon nuclear weapons in the event of a China assault on Taiwan. As I started to say, our great advantage, the great disadvantage of China is that they would have to cross 200 miles of water, and that is very difficult for a conventional force.
I'd like to ask you a more specific question of use of SSBN, Ohio class nuclear weapons. A long time ago, when you was in the Pentagon, you started the new strategy, all direction targeted strategy, something like that, much more sophisticated word you used. What the target now Ohio class at this time in the Pacific has? What's the target?
Well, the target has been and will continue to be Chinese military capabilities. I do not think that we would want, except in a retaliatory mode if they were to hit our cities, that we would want to hit their cities. I think that any such weapons should be used against Chinese military targets, and particularly nuclear targets.
Do you think the Chinese realize that kind of American strategy?
I think that the Chinese, one, recognize that that even though neither side wishes it, things might get out of control if either of us were to act unwisely in the Taiwan Straits, or if we permitted the Taiwanese to be provocative. Therefore, both of us are going to remain prudent. And as a consequence, I think the Chinese recognize that we have no intention of initiating anything against China, and I don't think that the Chinese have any intention of initiating against us. It would be catastrophic for the Chinese, and it would certainly be damaging for the United States.
And do you think Chinese trying to do something to neutralize this kind of American deterrent power?
The Chinese certainly are trying to neutralize our nuclear capabilities by establishing their own nuclear force. as a counter-deterrent against our nuclear forces. But the critical thing for the Chinese at the moment is to build up their naval and cross-strait capabilities in such a way that they appear to threaten Taiwan, and that includes the buildup of medium-range ballistic missiles on the southeast coast of China. Those are intended to either to intimidate or potentially to intimidate Taiwan without directly attacking Taiwan.
Mm-hmm. So you can say the nuclear weapon of Ohio-class SSBN can help Asian country by stopping Chinese trying to invade neighboring country. They are so aggressive to neighboring country in South China Sea or East China Sea, even against the Japanese small island in that region. So that SSN, I can say, can help Asian country to stop Chinese military action.
The SSBN will help neutralize any Chinese use of nuclear weapons, not only against the United States, but against some of its Asian neighbors, and most particularly against Japan, because of our treaty with Japan. We do not have treaties with, for example, Vietnam, which you mentioned earlier. So I'm not sure that we have the same degree of protection for Vietnam that we would have for Japan.
So many people think Cold War is over and deterrent power of the United States, nuclear power, is no more used, but not. Still effective against Chinese ambition.
Well, the Cold War is over in the sense that Soviet imperialism has disappeared. But if one thinks of the communist world of a decade ago, there were 1.8 billion people, 2 billion people under communist rule. There are still 1.5 billion people under communist rule in China, in North Korea, and in Vietnam. And so the particular Cold War threat driven by the Soviet Union has gone away. But the necessity of maintaining a satisfactory deterrent posture continues, not only against China or aspiring nuclear powers, but also even against the Russian successor to the Soviet Union, because Russia has many, many nuclear weapons.
So dominance of Chinese power over the Western Pacific or the Asia can be psychologically or militarily or economically a threat to American people?
I think that it would certainly be psychologically a threat to the American people, and I do not think that it is our intention to allow China to become dominant in the region. Obviously, as the Chinese economy grows, as the Chinese become more circumspect, which they have in recent years, we have been ready to recognize that they have an important regional role. But an important regional role is certainly not dominance in the Western Pacific. And we have no intention of allowing that. And I don't think that Japan would have any intention of allowing Chinese dominance in the region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the point. Many Japanese are afraid of Chinese dominance over the Pacific and Asia. But Chinese try to dominate that region without stimulating United States. I mean, if a United States is calm and never move, they can dominate Asia and control Japan. That's Japanese sense of danger. how do you think how do American people think about that kind of thing?
Well, I think that we are certainly going to maintain our presence, and indeed our capabilities in the Western Pacific, not the numbers of our troops, but our military capabilities driven by technology are increasing in the Western Pacific. And we intend to maintain that position. We do not anticipate trouble from China. We think that the Chinese are on a peaceful course, but we are prepared, we are ready, we have our capabilities in the Pacific to respond were they to become aggressive.
Does that mean you increase and strengthen the power of naval presence in the Pacific?
We are increasing the power of naval presence in the Pacific. You mentioned SSBNs, but also, of course, we are, I believe, moving another carrier into the Pacific, more ships moving forward. We are going to have more forces stationed on Guam than we had previously. This is part of a readjustment of our worldwide posture in the wake of the end of the Cold War and the elimination of the threat from the Warsaw Pact, which is, of course, dissolved, and the Russians basically, like the Chinese, want to enjoy economic expansion, and they want to become part of the world economy, trading with other countries. So I think that in Europe, our military requirements have changed. Obviously, they have grown in the Middle East, but we continue to sustain our capabilities in the Western Pacific, indeed gradually increasing them as a deterrent of aggressive action by China, which we do not expect to take place, not under this Chinese government.
So now your government, Republican government, Secretary Rumsfeld, decreasing ground forces in the Pacific and increasing the naval power and deterrent power. Is that a change of the fundamental policy of the United States in Asia?
No, it does not. And one should recognize that we are decreasing the number of ground forces, but the capability of each unit of those ground forces is increasing. You saw the very modest force that we used in the invasion of Iraq recently. We are increasing the capabilities of our ground forces, and the overall capabilities in the Western Pacific will be increasing even though we are reducing the number of men. Manpower is no longer the criterion of military strength. It is manpower plus technology. And as you have seen, our technology gives us a substantial advantage over any hypothetical foe.
I see.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
インタビューをまとめてみます。ミサイルの照準はこれまでもまたこれからも中国の軍事施設である。中国はアメリカがミサイルを使うことはないだろうと考えているが、目標にされていることは十分に認識している。中国はアメリカに対する抑止力として核戦力を作り上げ、アメリカの核ミサイルの力を帳消しにしようとしている。アメリカが究極の兵器で世界の平和を維持しているという事実は、日本にとって2つの大きな問題を提起しております。一つは中国の問題です。先ほども申し上げましたように、このアメリカの究極の兵器、ミサイル潜水艦のミサイルは中国の軍事施設を狙っているのは間違いがありません。このために中国はアメリカに対して挑戦をするのをやめております。つまり中国とアメリカの国際的な対決というのはありえないというのが常識になっております。しかしながら中国は 局地的な問題、日本の尖閣列島やあるいは南シナ海の領有をめぐっては強圧的な、そして覇権的な姿勢をとっております。それはアメリカのこういった究極の兵器による抑止力が実際には発動できないだろうと考えているからであります。でアメリカはこういった局地的な問題にアメリカの最終的な兵器を使うはずはないというのが常識であります。この点が日本にとって大きな問題になってまいります。アメリカと中国の関係は安定し平和でありますけれども、アジアにおける局地的な中国の侵略的な姿勢をどうやって規制するのか、日本が独自の形で責任を取らなくてはならなくなってまいります。そしてもう一つは日本の本来の姿勢、あるいは軍事的な政策です。いつまでアメリカ一国のアメリカの究極兵器による平和に全てを依存していてよいのか、これは歴史的な問題になりますけれども、世界の平和というのをアメリカのこうした兵器体系に依存してしまっていいのか、歴史の目で見てそうした態度をいつまでも続けていいのか、この問題を日本人は考えてみなくてはならなくなってきていると思います。でこうした意味でアメリカの究極兵器ミサイル潜水艦の存在というのは日本にとって短期的そして長期的に重大な問題に私はなりつつあると思います。
一緒だ。無理やり上様がお連れになったらしい。
戦はこれからではありませぬか。一体なぜ家来を置いて上様は江戸へ先に帰られたのですか。
わしに聞くな。上様がおられん以上、もはや我らに勝ち目はない。
血は止まったようだな。
吐きません。そんなことはない。顔をやられてしまった。観察やのにこれでは顔を覚えられてしまう。
早く医者に見せた方がいいんじゃねえか。どうやらお前さんとは切っても切れねえ腐れ縁でつながってるらしいな。
ステスケ。
呼ばれもしねえのに現れるのがステスケ様よ。
こんなところで何してる。
自慢じゃねえが油売ってたのよ。土佐にも薩摩にも長州にも見回り組にも追われて、今日には居場所がなくなっちまったから、今は寺田屋の女将に頭を下げて使いっ走りからやり直しよ。
お前も数奇な運命たどってるな。
早く手当てした方がいいな。死んじまうぞ。
町はどこに行ってもサッチョのやつらで溢れてる。
寺田屋に来い。
あそこの女将が俺たちをかくまってくれるとは思えねえ。
俺が口聞いてやる。腐れ縁も縁に変わりはねえって話だ。
インドクリアス。
御用改めじゃ。まさか新選組なんど。幕府方の残党をかくまっちょっちゅうごちゃなかじゃろな。
確かにうちは新選組の方もお止めしますよ。けどそれと同じ分だけ長州の方も薩摩の方もお泊まりになっといやす。うちは客をより分けたりはしまへんのや。
それなら新選組がお忍びてきてもかくまうちゅうとか。
うちに駆け込んできた方はどなたはんでもかくまいます。薩摩のお方も何度もかくまいましたよって。ご挨拶が遅れました。寺田屋を預かってます。登勢と申します。お引き取りを。
しっかりし、傷は浅いです。
掃除具合はどうだ。
別にいいんですけど、あの人は私の看護につけてくれたんじゃないんですか。 るで面倒見てくれないんですけど。
この中じゃお前が一番顔色がいい。我慢しろ。
近藤さん、ちょっとよろしいですか。江戸に向けて船が出る。私は怪我人を連れてそれに乗る。あなたどうします？
新選組を置いて私だけが大阪を立つわけにはいきません。
お気持ちはわかるが、鳥羽と伏見はかなりの激戦だったと聞いています。何人生き残っているか。局長！
母ちゃん！
上様がいないってどういうことだ。俺たちを置いて逃げたってこと？
佐之助、上様は上様なりのお考えがあったんだろう。
これからどうするんですか？
江戸へ戻ることにした。
江戸へ帰るの？ちょっと待ってくれ。
近々2隻の軍艦が天保山沖を出て江戸へ向かいます。純道丸と富士山丸。
それに我らも乗せてもらう。すでに手はずはついている。
京都もさらばか。
何年ぶりだろう、みんなに会うの。司令官まだ立ってるのかな。
いやー、大阪城っていうのは広いな。さすがは太閤さんだな。
布施助トシから話は聞いた。いろいろすまなかった。
いいんだよ、そんなことは。じゃあ俺は失礼する。あばよ。
おい、俺たちは江戸へ帰るぞ。
そうなの？
お前も一緒に多摩へ帰らないか。
もういいんじゃないですか、捨助さんも。
帰る。
そういうわけで船が出るまではしばらくここで待機していてください。
俺は帰らないぜ。
トシ。
悪いが俺はここに残る。俺は今日で一旗あげるって誓ったんだ。
俺たちは十分頑張った。
ダメだ。俺は必ずかっちゃんを大名にするって約束したんだ。
一体誰に？
自分自身にだ。負け戦で帰るなんて真っ平だ。
俺たちはまだ負けていない。江戸で薩長を迎え撃つ。向こうには幾十万の軍勢と日本一の海軍が控えている。勝機は我らにある。逃げ帰るのではない。勝つために帰るんだ。